Yat she Shannon took in a she. Namasi didn't inshle. Nahast Asia Tobaha Bashish chain. Namasi didn't dosha. Tochini doshanella. Tonadus is a denasha. Agot ego dene asa inshle. Hello, I am called Shannon Took. I am from the Irish People Clan, and I'm born for the Zuni Edgewater clan. I'm also from the Irish People Clan on my maternal grandfathers, and I'm red running into water from my paternal grandfathers. I'm originally from Tuba City, Arizona, and in this way, I'm a Navajo woman. So introducing yourself in Navajo is actually considered proper etiquette. It is a way to connect with the person that you are talking to. It provides information of your lineage. It's who you are and where you come from. Your clan defines the core of your self-identity. So when we introduce ourselves, we know who we're related to, who can we potentially be related to if we got married. It is a way to keep the clans separate, so that way there is no way of marrying into your own clan. Yat-eh. The word has a deeper meaning than just hello. It is considered a sacred greeting. It is contacting another human being of our energy and the creation of our universe. It is the sacred contact between two sovereign entities. You break down the first part, Ya. It is the universe. It means the universe. It's a ceremonial name. It tells you that you are part of this universe. And At-eh, that word means it is, the literal translation. So it's recognizing you, and I'm telling you that you're a part of that universe. So Yat-eh, it actually says the universe it is. So the Navajo language is a descriptive language. It's not literal. So we don't have actual words that actually say what it is. It's describing language. So the universe it is telling. So when I'm telling you Yat, and I'm greeting you, I'm telling you you're a part of the universe. I see you. You are all things spiritual, physical, everything that is created that we are here on this earth that we live on. And it is. So by recognizing that you are part of this universe. So when you reciprocate it and you say Yat back to me, you're actually saying the same thing. I'm part of your universe, all things spiritual and physical, and we are all connected. We're all connected beings, whether it's the world itself, the mountains, the trees, the birds, the animals, or the human beings. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about shaking hands and finger pointing. The greeting Yat-eh with a handshake is considered the most sacred contact and vocalization surrounding the celebration of sacred communication. So shaking hands, it's a sign of respect. It's customary to shake hands. And when I was taught, when you go into a room, you go in and you shake everyone's hand. That's a sign of respect. Of course, if you have more than 50 people, you don't go in and shake everybody's hand at that point because there's way too many. The next one is finger pointing. So finger pointing, we don't point, we usually use our hands. Finger pointing is considered accusatory. It's impolite. So I'd like to do a little exercise on handshaking and how we do it on the reservation. You have two hands, you just put them together and you just slightly drop them. This is as firm of the grasp that we actually shake hands. And if you squeeze hard, that would be considered as an aggressive nature or intimidation. When you meet an elderly will actually just barely touch your hand and shake. So when you shake somebody's hand that's from the Navajo Nation or any other indigenous tribe, most of them do not shake hands firmly. You don't need to take it as an insult or thinking that they don't want to shake your hand or they don't want to touch your hands. It's just a sign of respect that they don't need to be aggressive in their handshake. I'd really like to talk to you about Hojon. In Navajo, Hojon means walking beauty and is one of the main staples and the principles when it comes to our culture. So let me give you a little bit of cultural fact on Hojon. That's actually the short-term way to say it. The actual proper way to say it in Navajo is Za'amagai Bake Hojon. And this actually does mean the beauty way. It is a ceremonial and it is very sacred to the Navajo culture. It is how Navajos are intended to live. It is the interconnectedness of all things physical and spiritual. It is the concept of the holistic environment of beauty, balance, harmony, and well-being. I'm going to break down what Tsa'anagay Bekehojo actually means. So Tsa'anagay, it is the right way, it is the right path, it is the Father, it's the physical part. The Father actually begins life. So if you think of it as yin and yang, without yang, there is no yang. You can't make a perfect circle. So the physical side is Tsa'anagay. Bekehojo, that's to walk in beauty. It is the spiritual side. It is how a mother is. The mother completes life. So those two actually are intertwined. So Tsa'anagay Bekehojo is the right way, it's how we're intended to live, and the beauty way, which is the spiritual part. In this slide, another more important of cultural facts is the number 4. It permeates within the Navajo philosophy. We have 4 directions, we have 4 seasons, we have 4 original clans, we have 4 sacred mountains, and in those 4 sacred mountains, each mountain has its own color. Traditional songs, they're sung 4 times, and the Beauty Way ceremony that we do have is 4 days long, and the patient is actually to remain pure for 4 additional days after the ceremony. And the Navajo word that is equivalent to Amen is actually said 4 times after the prayer. There are 4 levels to the world that they believe in, and when I introduce myself, you give yourself, you say 4 clans at the end. Some fun facts. San Juan County, it's approximately 7,933 square miles. It is the largest county in Utah. The largest industry is the health care and social assistance, and then coming up next is educational services. The word Utah, it actually originates from the Apache word, and it means people of the mountain. Also, the territory, it was also called Land of the Utes, hence Utah Utes. Moving to the data and the demographics of San Juan County. So the population for San Juan County is 15,228. When you compare it to Utah, it's 3.16 million. So now we're going to focus on the poverty from San Juan County versus the state of Utah. San Juan has a 26.6% poverty rate, and Utah has 10.3%. And that's a huge difference when you compare the two. Now we're going to go through the ethnicities. On the left, for San Juan County, you have the American Indian population, and they come at 47.3%. You have the Anglo ethnicity, and they come in at 43.6%. Hispanic is 5.65%. Other ethnicities are 3.3%. And African American, they come at 0.17%. To the state of Utah, you see that the Anglo population is 77.8%, which is a huge difference between the county and the state. You have Hispanics coming in next, which is at a little over 14%. Other ethnicities is 3.7%. African Americans, a little over 1.1%. The American Indians, who come in last, at 0.88%. So these differences create a diverse county compared to the state. So we're going to talk about the lack of basic services when it comes to San Juan County. Now, Navajo Nation, it has a large population in San Juan County, but as a whole, approximately 60,000 residents on the Navajo Nation do not have electricity. Most of those are in remote areas. Running water, that's also scarce. Only 30% of those population do not have running water, and 40% of those, they must haul their water. That means drinking water, for cooking, showering, anything that they need to do for cleaning. Otherwise, they need to haul their water also for livestock and cattle. When it comes to phone services, that is very minimal. A lot of us know that phone services and internet, they actually are intertwined. A lot of us have smartphones, so that we use our data for internet service. And to have cell phone service, it is extremely limited. This actually is an obstacle, a challenge for a lot of patients who need to make a phone call to either call or have a telemed appointment with a doctor or a healthcare provider. They have to do Zoom. Most of the times we have to go on top of the highest point of where we're at, so that way we can actually get service. So for patients on the reservation, they need to travel to get to a healthcare facility for emergencies or if they have appointments. Let's say that they have an appointment in Blanding. So from Bluff, it's 30 minutes. Montezuma Creek and Mexican Hat, it takes 50 minutes. And Mexican Water in Aneth is about 65 minutes. And Monument Valley is 90 minutes. And all the way from Navajo Mountain, it's 180 minutes. And keep in mind, this is one way that these people must drive. So the realities of healthcare. There are three major topics when it comes to the realities of getting to a healthcare facility, and that's transportation, time, and money. These three are actually intertwined. It takes time for them, keep in mind against the previous slide of how long it takes for them to get to an appointment. Of course, you have transportation. A lot of people and individuals who don't have vehicles or properly running vehicles, and it takes money to keep these vehicles running, or you need insurance, you need gas, any of those other items that you need just to travel. Time, they'll make it an all-day event, so they'll actually come in, they'll go grocery shopping, they'll go to their appointment, they'll do their laundry, and then they'll travel on their way back. So a lot of these people, if they have a job, they'll have to take a day off work to come to their appointments. So it's not just a 15-minute drive in, 15-minute appointment, and then 15 minutes back in order for them to get health care. So we want to interlace this presentation with healthcare and the culture itself. The culture of the client is important for you to understand where they come from and who they are. That way you can able to provide for them better, or whatever means that you need to do for these patients. The challenges of these patients, keep in mind of those, of how it is an obstacle and a challenge for them to come to their appointments. They have socioeconomic barriers. There are geographic barriers, there's demographic barriers, financial barriers, the time it takes to get to these appointments. So by you gaining information of our culture and county of what it takes to get to a healthcare facility creates an advantage. And you're able to understand exactly where the patient is coming from, what it took to get here, and maybe the obstacles or the challenges of the day to get their appointments. So continuing with this presentation is a guide for healthcare providers. Recognizing this will gain you your own beauty way. So in a sense, you'll have your own Sa'anagai Pekehojo. I really appreciate the time you sat and listened to me, and I hope it was informational and you take away some of the stuff that I gave you. And thank you.